Across the harsh, semi-arid lands of Africa, every new day begins a battle for survival. Beneath an old acacia tree, a mother honey badger digs a deep burrow to prepare for the birth of her cub. In the safety of the darkness underground, a tiny honey badger cub lets out its very first cry. During the first weeks of its life, the honey badger cub's entire world consists only of the cramped burrow and the warmth of its mother. The honey badger cub cannot yet see clearly, cannot find food on its own, and depends entirely on the protection of its mother. But outside the burrow, the heat, the hunger, and the predators never stop waiting. Every time the mother honey badger leaves the burrow to search for food, she risks never returning. She moves close to the ground, constantly sniffing to detect even the smallest traces. An African jumping mouse bursts out of its tunnel in panic and races toward the grassland. But after only a few steps, the mother honey badger stops the prey with a perfectly timed pounce. The food she finds helps the mother honey badger maintain her strength and continue raising her cub. As time passes, the honey badger cub gradually grows stronger, and curiosity begins to overcome fear. One morning, the honey badger cub crawls out of the burrow for the very first time. The mother honey badger stops beside a rock and uses her claws to flip over the soil beneath it. A scorpion immediately raises its venomous tail. The honey badger cub starts to move forward, but the mother honey badger quickly blocks its path. The mother honey badger circles around the scorpion, avoids its tail, and attacks from the front. Within only a few seconds, the scorpion becomes the first meal that the honey badger cub shares outside the burrow. The first lesson is clear. Food can be found almost anywhere, but danger is often right beside it. As the mother and her cub continue searching for food, a dark shadow suddenly sweeps across the ground. High above, a martial eagle circles in the sky while watching the honey badger cub. The mother honey badger immediately detects the threat and pushes her cub into the shelter of the thorn bush. The martial eagle dives with its talons fully extended, aiming directly at the cub. The mother honey badger leaps upward, bares her teeth, and lets out a fierce growl. The sudden counterattack forces the martial eagle to change direction just before reaching the ground. The honey badger cub has just learned that not every danger comes from the ground. A sweet scent carried by the wind leads the mother and her cub to an African honeybee nest hidden inside a hollow, decaying tree trunk. Hundreds of African honeybees immediately swarm out to defend their nest. Their stingers repeatedly pierce the coarse fur and thick skin of the mother honey badger. Despite the swarm of bees covering her body, the mother honey badger continues tearing into the tree trunk. Within moments, the hive is broken apart, and chunks of golden honeycomb fall onto the ground. For a honey badger, honey is only a small part of the reward. As the mother and her cub leave the hive, a Cape cobra suddenly slithers out from the dry grass. The Cape cobra raises the front of its body, spreads its hood, and lets out a warning hiss. The honey badger cub steps back, while the mother honey badger keeps her distance and watches every movement of her opponent. The Cape cobra launches its first strike so quickly that it is almost impossible to see. The mother honey badger dodges aside at the very last moment. The second, third, and fourth strikes come one after another, but none of them reaches their target. This is not a contest of strength, but a battle of patience and timing. When the Cape cobra exposes the back of its head, the mother honey badger immediately charges. A precise bite behind the skull quickly brings the confrontation to an end. The honey badger cub stands motionless, remembering the lesson that acting recklessly can kill even the strongest creature. Several months pass, and the honey badger cub begins venturing farther away from its mother during short foraging trips. It digs small holes, overturns rocks, and investigates every crack in the ground. A rock lizard suddenly darts out of its hiding place and races toward the hillside. The honey badger cub gives chase, but loses its footing on the loose rocks. The rock lizard quickly disappears into a narrow crevice before the honey badger cub can react. Its first failure brings no food, but it teaches the honey badger cub an important lesson about speed. The following day, it discovers a fresh mound of soil rising from the grassland. Beneath the soil, a mole is moving through its tunnel. This is the first successful hunt that the honey badger cub accomplishes entirely on its own. But the scent of the prey quickly attracts a spotted hyena wandering nearby. The spotted hyena approaches, using its superior size to force the honey badger cub away from its prize. The honey badger cub bares its teeth, raises its fur, and charges forward a few steps to threaten its opponent. The spotted hyena hesitates for a brief moment, but continues advancing. The honey badger cub realizes that courage cannot make up for such an overwhelming difference in strength. It abandons its prey and quickly retreats into the safety of a narrow rock crevice. Today, the honey badger cub loses a meal but saves its life. When the dry season arrives, the honey badger cub has grown into an adult and begins living entirely on its own. It digs its own burrow, finds its own water, and hunts prey hidden deep beneath the ground. On a scorching afternoon, the adult honey badger accidentally wanders into the hunting territory of a leopard. From a tree branch, the leopard silently watches before dropping to the ground. The adult honey badger turns around, bares its teeth, and prepares to defend itself. But it does not charge into the fight. After waiting for several minutes, the leopard is forced to give up and leave. The adult honey badger survives not because of its strength, but because of its ability to use the terrain and the experience it has gained.